Yeah. Supposedly that there's the tall gray aliens and there's the reptoids are the two types that are at this base from what I've been able to understand. I might be wrong. There could be more. But from what I've heard about the Greys, yes, they do like to predate on humans, and they actually make a sort of a drug out of their adrenal gland that they call adrenochrome that they get high on, and which goes right along the lines with the same thing with the reptilians, who like to have the humans that they're going to eat be extremely terrified before they eat them, because apparently they like the taste of the meat better that way. And I can state from personal experience that I have had meat from a slaughterhouse where they were not very careful about not terrorizing the animals before they delivered the death blow to them. And you could tell the difference. You could taste the difference in the meat. So that's a no BS right there. I can personally bet that there is a difference in the way the meat tastes. And, whether these things get high off it or whatever, there's other people that are on the same page that we are on that think that they are probably demons. And they think that these things actually can derive sustenance from negative emotion in some fashion. That, fear, sadness, heartache, whatever, negative emotions, anger, rage, all these things, that they actually can somehow derive some sort of sustenance from it. So, I mean, there's another weird thing that sort of ties in with all of this.
Yeah, it does. It really makes you wonder what's going on up there in this whole thing and what the agenda is. It's kind of like the insider I had on with Chris. Coincidentally, it was the Air Force that was cracking down on Chris. And Chris was told, don't talk about any sort of DNA manipulation, don't talk about aliens, stick to Bigfoot and minimize what you say. And, it's just shocking to me. I think one day these things are going to pop up and everyone's reality is going to be shaken to the core.
Let you guys make the final decision on what you think.
Yeah, I had a guy on one time. He goes, and this is one of those stories I never put on the air. It was a law enforcement guy, and he was in New Mexico, and he said he ran into, they were on a dirt bike, a mountain biking race or something to that effect. And he said what he saw is this thing cross the road. Well, I'm thinking we're going to talk about Bigfoot. And as he's describing it to me, he said it looked like, he goes, I think it was an alien. And I go, it was what? And he goes, well, it was like a half man, half lizard running across the road. It was upright, like how we walk, but had the face of a snake or face of a lizard. And he said it ran up into the rocks and it was gone. And the other interesting point he said it had a tail. And so for the longest time, I was trying to figure out what this guy was talking about, because he's not describing a dog man. He's not really describing a Sasquatch. And I'm not really big into the alien thing, but this guy was as sincere as they come. And I just could not figure out what this guy was talking about. And he didn't even know. And so, as you go into this whole story of Dulce and this deep underground military base, you hear a lot of weird stories. I think there was a security guy that got killed there. Hey, have you heard about that?
I'm not sure that I've heard that one.
Yeah, it was, I'm trying to remember where I heard it from. The story goes, it was a military guy, and it's 8 levels of this underground base. And humans were not allowed to go to like level 7 and 8. And in level 6, you could hear people screaming for help. And he ended up going down there by mistake. He got stuck on the elevator. He went down there by mistake. And he said there's like people in cages. There's children in cages. And he ended up running into one of, he called it the Dracos too. He ran into one of the Dracos. And he got reprimanded for that. He basically got fired. He got, I don't remember the whole story. He got fired. Something happened with his job. But anyway, he started talking to one of his other friends that were on the base, and they say that the Dracos actually eat people. They get off on, it has to do with the adrenal glands. When you become scared, they almost kind of get off on it. And when I heard Phil Snyder talking that exact same thing, it kind of brought chills up my spine because I had heard that before. Sometimes I think in life, fact is stranger than fiction.